My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to Ladder Streak for another week. How's it going, bud?
I'm so stoked. This is definitely one of my favorite leaders. Also, it's going great. I dive right into the game. You can see my excitement based on my lack of social propriety. I particularly love this leader because before I started playing Monster Train, there was another content creator, Dark Twinge, who was playing it, who I saw, and I asked, if he could describe the different factions to me, the new ones. I had played beta, but then I hadn't played the new factions when it came out, right? And I still distinctly remember, I forgot all the other descriptors, but the way that he described Umbra was as a snack-based clan. And I have called them the snack-based clan since then because it is such an apt description. And then they came up with Primordium, which is, really just drives home the point that this is a clan based around snacking. Yep. 3 morsels in a trench coat delivered to a buffet. So I'm stoked.
3 morsels in a trench coat delivered in a buffet and also synergizes extremely well with Feast. And my god, Gorge.
We hungry.
Let's see who we get hungry with, because there is a ridiculously different way of playing this character, specifically Primordium, with every clan.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I don't think there's much we can say on the start screen other than let's find which we okay.
Hey, we got the ipso facto week. Oh my gosh,
did.
and they're both exiled too.
They are.
We really are. Oh, that is weird. This is strange. Upside down world deja vu. Oh, and we just lost 20 life, Raps. This is a big covenant, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. We're actually going to be starting on 60, so we can no longer take a trial in the first area if we think it's going to cost us 61 pyre health. Okay, so I've got a couple of thoughts here, and I want to just quickly ram them out so that we can then kind of get somewhere to work from, right? Immediate thoughts. We've got 2 crypt builders. I'm looking for the +10s on them relatively soon, but I don't want to go to the Merchant of Magic with the Stygian banner next to it. I instead want to go to a Merchant of Steel with an Umbra banner next to it for the possibility of a unit that gorges on the Primordium to some sort of significant effect. That also opens up the possibility of going to a Hellvent in the next area. Unfortunately, we're almost certainly not going to want a Hellvent, or rather dupe the Umbra unit that we end up getting from the Merchant of Steel. If it is a gorging unit, it's possible we end up not finding a gorging unit and do some play around the edge, but the possibility exists that we set up by going to this area. Then, what do we do
before you go on, I would say one thing that I like to emphasize about Umbra is that you don't have to feed morsels to a gorging unit. And lots of times, a non-gorging unit, particularly if you've got something like superfood, might even be a better eater. And then the dupe gets better. But it's a good point that duping gorge is unlikely.
Yes, it is definitely true that we can feed the morsels and even the Primordium itself to non-gorge units. If the Stygian banner was on the same side as the Merchant of Steel, I would be more keen on that. And the big reason I'd be more keen on that is a Siren of the Sea, especially, just buffing itself as well as having the extra buffs coming in from the Primordium in the back line would be really good.
Oh man, it really is going to come down a lot to also what upgrades were offered at this Dark Forge.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's one of them to me which stands out so far beyond the others. I mean, I love them all.
Hang on just a second. Is this the character where you take the Dark Forge first?
To know if you got superfood?
To know if you've got superfood. Because if you go to the Hearsel's Horde, there are 2 relics in 2 artifacts, in Umbra that specifically work with your superfood Primordium. Superfood Primordium, by the way, as we're talking about this, a superfood Primordium is one that passes forward the status effects on it as well to the person in their head. And, having spawn in with 2 lifesteal or spawn in with 2
damage shield.
2 damage shield, that you really want in some circumstances.
I think we should click the Dark Forge just to make the point that we've done it.
Okay, I like it.
We're living on the edge.
Okay. So
oh boy, there it is. You gotta take it, right?
Yes. Yes, you do. I really... So I
love the other names. Stalwart Snack.
I do really enjoy the other names. I feel weird about some of the Primordium upgrades, and the reason is because I feel like, and maybe this is just, you know, my playstyle, or maybe this is just the way that I've experienced it so far, but it feels like superfood is almost always one that you want a single level of, and then you hybridize possibly. And it feels like maybe the other two could have like maybe one number added to them to try and balance out the effect of superfood.
And they actually didn't they nerf superfood or buff the others at some point afterwards? It's definitely a case to where it feels like way stronger. This is interesting because hammered chest plates is actually multiplied, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it gives the +3 to the Primordium, which manages to pass it forward.
I mean, I think it's still always jack strips here, but it's cute.
Based on the rest of the deck, yeah, I think it's jack strips.
It's just such consistent. The one thing that it robs us of sometimes is Plink, but good. You know what I mean? It's like having very, very consistent clear is worth so much. We can work out other ways to get morsels if we need them.
And if the Primordium is on the back line and we have a gorging unit in front of it, the Plink might not even have space.
Yeah, true.
It's a shame to see the hammered chest plates there as well, because this is exactly the champion with which I can take it.
Yeah.
So we just take very little damage to this, but we don't prevent any. Not really.
That's okay. We've still got some health.
If this gives us a Stygian unit, we actually may go back to the original option.
We can do a fair bit of damage too. Do you want to set up top and feed a steward?
Set up top and feed it. Oh, you mean Shiny Steward and the Primordium already go up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about some sort of play that allows us to get more value out of the packed morsels, but
I guess we want to try to get to the collector mid-row question.
We can never get the collector mid-row without a Plink. It's just not accessible for us.
It's not going to happen, right?
Hey, how about this way? Primordium doesn't have to buff anything yet because it's never killing any of the clergymen, or rather the Shiny Steward in front may kill one clergyman but prevents 1 damage by doing so. So just having the Primordium sit here waiting for a later Shiny Steward and then getting 3 into the pact seems good.
I like that. That's smart.
Yeah,
it was a good question. Like, what are we going to do with these morsels, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to just sack them for no value. And we still have the kill.
Nice.
Still
Curious
put the
then.
Steward up there.
So, which means then we're just plinking a couple times? It's kind of weird.
I mean, we can plink here to transmute that into a...
Oh, that's not bad.
Let's do that.
Or the other option was to just play the Crypt Builder, like on the bot row or something. But I like this a little bit better, I think.
I don't want the possibility of not drawing a Shiny Steward next turn. I guess we'd probably end up with the Ember Forge, though. And then the Primordium taking damage before it passes forward the HP.
Agree. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, we're going to take so little damage.
It's going to be perfect.
Bing, 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 bing. Just plinking around.
Setting them up on the bottom line. That is... Hang on. Is that the name of a piece?
What?
Is there like a musical composition named Just Plinking Around?
I don't know. That's a good question. It sounds like a Ronald Jenkins song.
Yeah, it does, don't it?
Yeah.
I got introduced to Ronald Jenkins through Philip DeFranco, I think.
Oh, really?
Used to have it as his end slate constantly.
That's interesting. Ronald Jenkins he's brilliant.
I mean...
Yeah, borrow it for sure, because then we might get some heals.
Yep.
Very worth.
We're going to need a couple foregone powers to try and hit in a couple turns' time, because this is not feeling good.
It is a little... It's a little spooky.
Dang. I was really hoping that would hit the front line 3 times to justify
that was
what
smart.
I did.
No, that was really smart, though, to play it out then and do the foregone power. And then, yeah, that was huge. And, you know, now we've got... Ooh, yeah, just... Oh, man, it all came together.
Yeah, I'm really, really pleased it did. Ooh, that's a That's something we can pass forward. Pass forward some member drain.
Shiny. Shiny. Give. Please. Channel.
Smooth. I really like the crows in every game, but Dark Souls 2. And the reason I didn't like them in Dark Souls 2 was because their nest, due to some sort of frame rate weirdness on PC, their nest was capable of lowering durability when struck by ridiculous amounts. And because of that, when I got the Sentier's Spear, which has a giant stone on the end of it, that you have to lower the durability of the weapon to 0. It's got giant durability, but you have to lower the weapon durability to 0 before it becomes a usable weapon. And I just had to sit there and hear them talk about smooth and shiny all day, and it was too much. I overloaded.
Oh, man.
It's a nice sweet snack occasionally, but too much of it at the same time, and it's saccharine.
It's too much. You're right.
We could find something to do with this, Perils.
Yeah, we definitely could. I'm fully confident in that.
We haven't got our unit draft yet, right? That happens after. Yeah. Okay.
You know what? We already have something to do with this, Perils.
What's that?
We have superfood. We can pass Ember Drain around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can do the Ember Drain pass.
But also the Rage, actually. The Rage does get passed around, and that's a big deal.
It's non-zero contribution. Let's do it. We have so many other things that already want the +10s and the +20s. I don't think we'd Ice Storm.
Yeah. Are you eyeing the offering token this time? I think it's better this time than last time.
I think it is better this time than last time. Part of me is actually eyeing the Crypt Builder right now, though.
Just another.
Yeah. I wonder if just another matters enough.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, with the buff to reflex, offering token is, there's probably more discard synergy than there used to be. My games are all mixing.
I wonder if we do take the offering token and then that makes it easier to take the next Titan's Tooth or Crypt Builder or
I kind of like
Guardian's
it. I kind of
Stone.
do. I kind of do. We don't have the 2 Titans Gratitude in this game. I think we'll get more value out of it.
Well, we have a choice to make. Because we can feed the Alloyed Construct Primordium, but unless you're also throwing in morsels very consistently, and we have packed morsels, but that's going to generate more morsels than we need unless we take Capacity Gem later, then the Alloyed Construct is not actually going to have that many turns active after the Primordium's gone.
I actually love Alloyed Construct, but it's pretty important. It's not very often that this unit will be doing much against the boss. This is a wave clearer, right? Most of the time. It takes a lot to be able to generate enough fuel to fully complete a boss fight with Alloyed Construct.
That's exactly where I was going to go with it as well. Like the investment you have to put into it to get to that point is a lot. It's capacity gems, it's space prisms, it's shroud mitosis, it's everything.
You got to find ways to like either get it some stealth or some damage shield because it's not that beefy of a lad, but it needs to be in the front because it's gorging, right? So I would lean towards Siren or Guard here. They both do very different things. So the question is, how confident are we if we take Guard that we can find another significant scaling unit? And how confident if we take Siren that we'll find a meaningful frontliner? Probably frontliners are more findable among Umbra.
Among Umbra and Stygian, yeah.
Yeah. So that might lean me towards Siren.
Okay, so I'm actually really interested in the different roles that you think the Guard of the Unnamed and the Siren of the Sea play here, because the Siren of the Sea, to me, is not that far from being a frontliner. Literally, it's like, so if we consider 2 HP and 3 armor, and we consider them outside of sources of lifesteal, which actually may end up being relevant, in which case the Siren of the Sea actually gets the edge.
It's better.
But if you consider them outside of that, then the Siren of the Sea is a Guard of the Unnamed with 50% the defense generation, but infinite more attack generation.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about how numerically similar those are because of the health gain, actually.
Especially,
Siren of the Sea is just not a unit I think of being a frontliner because of the other Siren who's generating rage, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you think of them as being in a similar class, but they're actually very different units, aren't they?
Yeah, I've been breaking out with it a lot recently in specific of making the Siren the Sea my frontliner. Especially with
the Unnamed
armor 2 being a thing that you can access, it's not hard to do.
Guard of the Unnamed gets a significant edge over when you have Hellhorned, right? Like then there's a good chance that you can get more sources of armor, you can double your armor, you can get the rail hammer, and then all of a sudden it's totally crazy.
Yep.
But let's go Siren. I like the Siren a lot. I think this is a solid pick.
Cool. I'm just making absolutely certain that there's nothing I'm super overlooking for the Alloyed Construct. Because it could stand on the floor by itself and hit a bunch of packed morsels and be good.
So, I should say, I do think that if what we're worried about are the next 3 rings, that Alloyed Construct is better. I really do. We'll have no trouble getting significant value out of that unit for the next 3 rings, and it'll basically win them for us. We put a couple buffs on it, and we're solid. It's a shorter term versus longer term investment, basically.
Okay, so here's the tiebreak in my mind, because they were actually kind of closer than I think maybe I was letting on with how I was talking about them in my mind. But here's the tiebreak. If we still commit to the same plan of going to a Merchant of Steel, upgrading the Siren of the Sea, suddenly we're open to the possibility of duping that and having an incant floor.
Yep, and that's good. And you wouldn't want to dupe.
Well, that's
some stuff.
That's pretty. I think that's pretty definitive. We take quick. We reroll looking for +10, +5, +10, and then dupe it.
Can we afford that? No.
Can we not?
That's 135. We have 15 gold left.
130.
Unless we're about to go get 10 more gold.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind, we'll go get 10 gold.
10 gold!
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have the jack scripts, maybe I'd make a case for the Shadow Eater,
that
but
Shadow Eater is pretty good.
It's less because...
So big. Why are they so big?
Why does it have to be that large?
Why is it so big?
What if instead this was like a 2-cost still, but it was 2 pips. I think I was about to say 1 pip, but then I was like, that's too much. And it was 2 pips, but it started with half as much HP, 25.
That's interesting. And now you basically need enhancements.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any...
I often say, luckily, I'm not the game designer. I just play it.
Well, we missed out on the multi-strike, but...
Ooh. That does hurt.
Are we still
pretty
committed?
Nice. Maybe that makes it a +10, actually. +10 damage.
And then we're looking for what, like, Guardian Stone support on the top floor or some such?
Yeah. Well, and just because with Quick, getting more damage online is block.
Yeah.
For everything other than, like, spikes.
So when do we have to have a solution for sweep definitely by, like, ring 4?
Yeah, what are the rings? 4, 7. Who do we have? Seraph the Temperance, so no sweep there.
Okay. I think we do.
I think it'll be enough because of the plus health. I think it'll be enough.
I'm running into a similar problem to what we ran into last run that led us to taking cave in so early on, and that's because I don't have access to adjusting the height of a character. I would really like that right now.
Yeah. And we're going forward now, right? We're running out of chances to find that. It's so wild how big of a deal common cards are in this game and how limited it is to find them. That's the kind of thing that it's one of these deeply impactful kind of conspiracies that you don't discover for way longer than you'd think.
I've been thinking about that a fair bit recently, ever since I found out that you can't get commons past ring 3. And in particular, What if there was like a concealed cabin event or maybe like a rare merchant that can spawn later on that gives you a choice of a couple cards that you can buy and they're all commons? Because it seems like
I think that would be really strong.
It would be, right? Too strong?
That's the question. Is it, or, you know, maybe it's not that it's too strong, but here's a slightly different take. Maybe the concern is not that it's too strong, but that it will encourage runs to be too samey.
Yeah.
You know, if you give people access to the commons merchant, then how often will they build the same set of commons?
Yep.
Because commons can be pretty definitive to your deck building in this game, like surprisingly compared to other deck builders.
I couldn't agree more. I was about to say something similar in the middle there, but well done. Agreed.
We came, you know, it's a funny thing about collaborating on this stuff is it's like, if I don't say it, you're gonna say it, and if you don't say it, I'm gonna say it. But I think it's always clear to me that we're kind of sharing similar thoughts.
I really like when I can hear like the thought that I had in my head just in a different voice, and I'm like, I didn't say that. Where'd that come from?
The leakies.
The
No
easy
more leak.
kill.
Hey, we asked when we needed to worry about sweep. Here it is. Ring 2. But luckily it's just the boss. I had forgotten about this boss, actually.
Yeah, I always forget about this boss, and sometimes I even forget about it when they come on the start screen.
Why is that? Because I don't feel like... So, I don't know what hour it was in Slay the Spire where I had a encyclopedic knowledge of at least, you know, the form and name and basic moveset of every enemy. Yep. But I imagine it was around several hundred hours in, which is where I am in Monster Train. So why is it that I have so much trouble remembering non-major bosses? What is that about?
I think their threat is what makes you think about them more consistently, and I think a lot of the early bosses, like pre-Daedalus, are pretty much, for all intents and purposes, almost exactly the same.
Yeah, they're just a stat thing that you need to get through.
Yes, and there's obviously giant
I remember
variation.
their waves. You know,
Yeah,
like
same.
I know about the clergy. I think about the waves, but the bosses I don't know. And then, but I remember all the major bosses and their variations, and I remember some specific minor bosses.
Yes. I was the specific
like the
minor bosses
boss.
you can remember exactly are Crystal Cloak and like Living Wall, the ones that have like mechanics that differentiate them significantly to all of the rest of the bosses, but also things that are just hard blocks occasionally that you do have to think about. You never have to think about these. Well,
but I guess I can think about others. Like I can think about the you know, the push-up guy who gets stronger every floor, but I just don't know names for them. I guess I just started making up names in Slay the Spire. Angry Avocado and...
I mean, the names are printed on them in this one, and I
know.
Still miss it.
I know. But you talk about this. You just see cards for their colors and shapes, right?
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, that's going to give me a pip. Speaking of pip, that was... I'm glad that we have similar thoughts. It made me feel validated. Yeah, is it? Or is it Antumbra?
It's Pip.
I think it's Pip. I think it's always Pip.
I'm standing on like 95% here.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
I agree.
I think that is the crypt builder we were just asking for previously that we have the setup for now.
Triple crypt builder, baby. Let's go. I'm in. I kind of like the skip there too.
Whoa!
Just make the same deck twice. Just.
Yep. But Teak, the decks have to be different.
But Teak, you can't just take Perils of Production and Offering Monument and play all your spells. No.
What goes burr, though? I don't know.
The draw.
Okay. I'm gonna
draw goes burr.
See if we get the... Oh, what?
Such a strong event.
That Frozen Nostalgia is ridiculous right now, actually. All of these get plus 15, attuned to plus 75. All of the Plinks get 16.
Yeah. That's actually... Do you want to do it? It's kind of insane.
It is kind of insane, right? But
no, but this is great. We take that, and then And then I also think that we take a Pip boss relic.
So our boss relic is effectively plus 15 magic power on all our spells?
Yes.
That's not bad, isn't it? I worry.
Sure ain't.
So what? We're going to Pip, right? And then the idea is that the top floor is 2 Sirens of the Sea and an Offering Monument for the cycle. Primordium doing nothing?
We can dupe the prism right here.
Ooh, that hurts.
I know. It would feel better to dupe Siren.
Oh, hey, actually, no. If the Space Prism goes on the same floor and we're not capacity limited by anything, right? So we take the draw gem from Daedalus. 2 Sirens of the Sea without an Offering Monument is going to be totally fine for taking us through Daedalus, no problem there. And
True.
then after, when the Offering Monument dies, then we can put down Primordium.
True.
Because we have a 6 pit floor. 5 and then 6 with the Space Prism.
5 and then because we...
Right?
Where are we getting... Because
so
we're duping Space Prism?
No, because we frozen Nostalgia down to 4. Then we get a Prism back from the Daedalus fight, getting up to 5.
Prisms. Okay.
And then we use the Space Prism for 6.
I really like this. I'm surprised by how much I like this because with Umbra, I'm almost always taking Pips. But we're also Stygian, and we sure do have a deck full of Plinks and Crypt Hammers, don't we? Crypt Builders.
It's like, especially the 3rd Crypt Builder pushes me so hard in that direction.
What a weird deck.
What a wild deck. This is our 2nd floor. We found these are our 2nd floor.
Yeah. Cool. I'm into this. Look at these little small Pip lanes. Very small Pip, but big damage.
Extremely large damage. We're going to be totally fine here, right?
We're going to destroy this fight.
Okay.
I think in terms of immediate value, we absolutely took the right upgrade. That's for sure. So for this fight, is it Primordium right away, or are we actually 2nd cycle?
Here's my pitch.
Oh, I meant for the Siren.
Oh! We've got a 2nd Siren, though.
Yeah, I know.
So my pitch is Primordium on the bottom floor, perils it, play a Crypt Builder on the top floor. Literally, it's just for +2 up here and killing the Primordium.
You really just sacked the Primordium?
So most of the enemies are going to be dying to the Jackstrips. Literally, as soon as we have 2 Tyrants of the Sea up here, which our 2nd draw
we win. Okay, I like it. This is Primordium wanted to experience battle just one time.
Yeah.
And well earned, frankly.
You did it. You did all of the value you could have given us.
This Ember Forge, it's cracking me up.
It's a pretty sad Ember Forge, isn't it?
They're kind of cute, though. Look at all the little morsels holding it up. Working it. Little bitty Babis down there on the bottom.
It is extremely reminiscent of that scene from Spirited Away.
Yeah, we talked about that, right? I want to go back and watch those movies.
Are there any in particular in the Ghibli fiction that have escaped you so far?
That I haven't seen? Oh, yeah, I think there's a few that I haven't seen.
Any particular that you've got in mind that you want to see?
I don't know. I don't. And the thing is I could probably go review basically all of it because there's a difference between watching something one time and like really internalizing it. You know, I almost think, what is it that they say that every 7 years, all of, you know, on average, it takes about 7 years for every molecule in your body to be replaced? Kind of the, what is it, the boat of Theseus kind of situation or whatever?
Yep.
And so I've often thought maybe it's also about every 7 years that if you really love a movie or a piece of media, you need to review it because you will have burned off, you know, the whatever meaning it had for you at that point.
Yeah,
I kind of feel that way about a bunch of stuff to where it's like, yeah, I've watched this, and it's not even like I caught pieces of it on an airplane. I watched it. I sat down and I watched it, but I feel like I could watch it again, you know?
There are pieces of media that I have that thought about and purposefully don't re-engage with because I'm worried that will take less out of it on the second watch, or maybe dislike it more as a result of having re-engaged.
You don't want to spoil it for
Yeah.
yourself. That's pretty fair. I've heard people say that. Absolutely.
Because, like, at some point, what is the value of that property, right? Is knowing the actual extant value of that property more valuable than my fond feelings of it?
No.
As long as I don't
probably
align
not.
those two and say my fond feelings of it in the past are objectively its value, then I get to keep my valuation of it and be happy about that. I don't necessarily have to move.
That's and it's really real. There's a risk. I feel this way actually about I recently had this kind of renaissance where I went back to playing Pokemon games. I always love playing Pokemon games over the holidays. Like, there's something awesome about getting like a mobile gaming device, you know, Switch or Nintendo 3DS or whatever, and sitting on the couch and getting all in blankets and like just playing an honestly a pretty easy but bright game, like a Pokemon game.
Do you think that's like a throwback to your youth? Like when you'd get
for sure.
the Game Boy
Absolutely.
SP?
Oh, that was one of my first games that I really loved, was the early Pokemon. Absolutely. Of course, definitely. It is a return to the simplicity of youth. But I have trouble going back to those games now. The more that I play games like this, the more that I want there to be more depth to the strategy in a Pokemon game, you know? And so, but I don't know. Randomizers exist and they're very fun.
I really do want to do like a Nuzlocke randomizer at some point.
You should try it.
I have like a similar interest, but at the same rate, like I really like to dig deep into the games that I play, eventually at least. But it feels like many of the other games that I do that with reward you the more you dig, and it seems like Pokemon doesn't reward you the more you dig. In fact, it loses some of the appeal.
That's, for the base game at least, that's absolutely true, unless you're playing competitive. That's absolutely true. But the randomizers can be really, we'll talk about it some other time, but it might delight you, actually. It's like experiencing the game again. Familiarity and novelty mixed.
I'd find that interesting. Hey,
you want a retch? We got it, right? Retch.
Oh my god. Teak, what's your pitch and why?
It's retch because we are running Primordium.
Okay.
This is one of the only cards in the game that says you can have your champion back.
That's true.
I like to eat. Don't you want to? Superfood all day. You could also take this Umbra Stone and do some trample things. Or you can take Blazing Bolts and do 5 million damage. Those are also good picks.
My pitch is that I don't think we're an Umbra lead deck anymore. I think our champion is Siren of the Sea.
Okay, but to deny ourselves the possibility of getting value out of this superfood Primordium on this run is not only foolish, but it's so fun.
It is so
I want to
fun.
make sure that we have support for it.
It is so fun, but the thing is, I foresee so many problems in making it work that the support to make it work kills the deck. And
interesting.
The reason I feel that is because if we are going with our previous setup of 2 Sirens of the Sea, playing down an Offering Monument, using the full cycle of the deck, getting back up to 6 pips, putting the Space Prism down, and then having the Primordium come out, then Retch has no time to activate. That's happened pretty late. That Primordium's maybe getting eaten as the boss attacks, sometimes a turn before that. And then we have to try and retch value, put that back down, and get more value out of it. It's also not passing forward any status effects at the moment. Nothing positive. And
not yet. But you don't think we're going to pick up any status effects?
We theoretically could, but these
There's
two
some
clans
really
have a harder
solid
time
ones.
utilizing those. Like, specifically Furnace Tap, really, really good. Guardian Zone on the same floor, don't have the space for it, but it would be helpful. We're starting to run out of things. So my argument...
I like Damage Shield. I like Damage Shield more than you do.
You're right. You're right. Damage Shield with the X cost for it is pretty good.
And we're gonna get some anyway, right? Because isn't that the upgrade to Superfood? Like, you get some base of Damage Shield, and we'll like that with the Siren of the Sea. This run feels very similar to the last, but it's also very different because there's not a giant, Titan Shard standing at the front of the line. Our tank is our damage, and so we really need those 2 units. If that's all we're doing, other than of course our spells, which are killer. Those 2 units need to be really strong to take down the Seraph at the end. And I think, the extra bulk of things like passing forward some Damage Shield really could make a big difference.
I agree. I think we will be passing forward the Damage Shield from the Superfood. I think we're almost certainly going Superfood 3.
Yeah.
I think that because we have access through Superfood 3 to passing forward Divine Shield, that because we already have both of the slots on each of the Sirens of the Sea filled and have no possibility of getting multi-strike anymore, and we have like a 3-unit plan on that floor and the backline unit has 3 damage, the Tramplestone represents sweep / multi-strike that we're missing. And it's so hard for us to get
that our spell damage won't be enough to cover that with things like Plink?
No, the spell damage will almost certainly be enough to cover that with things like Plink.
That's the only thing that I was thinking. I honestly, when I'm looking at this run, part of what taking Frozen Nostalgia represents for me is the possibility, as long as we make sure to take some cards like this Blazing Bolts, of not having to worry about waves at all. Like, our spell damage can get so strong on this run that all we worry about with our units is setting them up to outscale the boss. And that is pretty wild. That's pretty wild, man. Surf's up, bro. Magic power's in.
Do we not think that the Sirens of the Sea can scale to that point without the wretched?
I honestly don't know. I know what I saw in that last fight, which is that they were doing about like 60-ish damage each, which is great, but it wasn't going to be enough for a Seraph, that's for sure. Not even really that close.
Sure, but the development of our they're
no
longer going to be developed in terms of their without Pyrestone housing or a concealed cabins. They're not going to be upgraded as units anymore. But we upgrade the deck around them. That upgrades their effectiveness.
Absolutely,
and
we're going to get more in Cant.
These 2 clans have a lot of access for things to do that. I will click the Wretch if you think it's right, but I'm really nervous that we never use it effectively.
Yeah.
Because, like, when it comes back with none of its buffs on it, unless, of course, Superfood level 3, and then it comes back with the Divine Shield on it.
Yeah, that might be the thing that breaks me, because one of the biggest things that you can do with Wretch is it will come back with enhancements. And so if we were, as an example, Awoken, right? And we're putting some massive damage buffs on the Primordium and then retching it, that's starting to get silly.
Yeah,
we are really bringing it back at base. That's a good point.
Especially if we had Root Seeds in a deck like that, I click Retch 100% of the time here.
Yeah, it'll come back if we go to Superfood 3. It'll come back with, some damage shield or whatever. But that's a pretty compelling point.
I think you are right as well that we don't need the Umbra Stone. So
do you want to go Blazing Bolts then?
It's doing 50%
it's a really
more
good
damage.
One. Yeah, it is. It's a really solid Blazing Bolts here, and it's only going to get better.
We could, at any Merchant of Magic, double cost reduce it.
Okay, that was a wild ride. That is a Lodestone Totem.
It certainly is a Lodestone Totem, isn't it?
That sure is a Lodestone Totem. You know, when I was talking about not being sure how we were going to survive the Seraph fight?
That's how we do it. Hey, Teak.
Hey, Raps.
Do we ever play Primordium anymore?
Yeah, we're going to make a nice little lane. We're going to make a nice shrine. We're going to find a cave-in. We're going to figure it out.
Okay. I'm happy to find cave-in. I'm struggling to see where it gets played anymore.
Oh, man. What a world.
Especially if we end up duping that, the Lodestone Totem.
Which is very possible.
Extremely likely, I think. So we could upgrade the Lodestone Totem and the Offering Monument, in fact, with the Merchant of Steel. And this is probably the last Merchant of Steel we ever visit, right? Merchant of Trinkets further. This is either Dupe or the Merchant of Magic. Dupe removals almost certainly, but Merchant of Magic on the other side. And then we get to the final ring, and the Dupe is on the same side as the Merchant of Magic, the removals. So, like,
oh man,
if we want value out of a Merchant of Steel for the sake of the Lodestone Totem surviving sweep and the Offering Monument sticking around longer, we have to go to it now.
Yeah, that is pretty compelling, right? I was kind of excited for the Herzl's Horde here, but that's pretty compelling. We get money too.
I was looking at these really, really early on because I was looking at this Stygian banner and I was like, oh, when do I get the ability to upgrade units from it for the possibility of doing something similar to this? But I think it is.
I think you're right. Honestly, I'm quite excited about it. We've got some solid units to get upgrades on.
Okay.
Yeah, that says health.
That says plus
money.
10.
We could take a Crucible Collector there, right, and make that our Primordium lane, and that wouldn't even be terrible. But I think we don't need it, do we?
Yeah, that wouldn't be terrible. It would be set up for like the first turn or two. Wait, hang on. This is a banner. Wait, is Lodestone a banner unit?
Lodestone is a banner unit.
Okay,
yeah.
So we have...
It's the weird one.
4 banner units.
As a general rule, I've always been trying to look for the heuristics to make this easier to remember. Usually totems are not, right? As a general rule, if a unit is rare, it is a priority unit. That's helped a lot.
That messes with me because I thought Bounty Stalker wasn't.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people thought that. It's got weird rules around it, but it's definitely a priority unit. That's the second multi-strike we were offered.
Yeah, no kidding. Sucks to miss out on, but honestly, I'm really, really happy that we got specifically the setup we did. We got damage shield on Lodestone Totem, and which is fine. That's just damage mitigation for 3 attacks. That's almost usually all of the sweepers that end up coming through. And then the Offering Monument with the +25/+25 couldn't have been better.
And thinking that way, by the way, of, oh man, we got offered another multi-strike, super fallacious. Because when you make a decision to take value now, that's a well-considered decision. And that's what we did. We know that we might be offered more value later, but we know for sure that this will win for us now, so we should take the value, right?
Agreed.
I try to avoid feeding into that rhetoric of like, oh man, bummer that we got the thing. It's like, well, we took this other path. We'll make the other path work.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I end up multiple times in the scenario where in order to buoy my own spirits over some lost value that I perceive, I have to refocus myself intentionally. Because I used to be, in my own time, a player that would be like playing Binding of Isaac and I lose a Soul Heart on the first floor and I'm like, nope, that's not maximum value, hold R.
Yeah.
And
speaking of value that we got now, Armor 15 exactly matches our Frozen Nostalgia.
Yeah,
nice?
You're not wrong about that. Do you happen to know when a Eclipse Conduit tries to leave a floor as... Oh, wait, no, it dies on the new floor so that everyone does go, right?
That's right.
Okay,
because Jackstrips is when it moves, it'll still haste.
Yeah. I love using Jackstrips and like descending enemies to kill them.
Yeah, it's so fun. Jackstrips is just good. Jackstrips is definitely one of those ones that when you first start the game, you're like, wait, but all these numbers say like 100. Why do I care about a thing that does 2 every turn? And then it turns out to be really, really good because it just deals with so many threats.
It's exactly the 2 that you need, though.
That's right. It's the 2 on the back. Primordium, why?
This is weird.
Surely we'll Plink. Oh, yeah. Plink and Foregone bot, and then it's solved.
Yeah, just take a free floor.
I think so.
Hey, free as hell. That cool marksman even dies.
Wow.
Nice.
It all came together.
Can we, like, have one of the sirens, please? Like, this is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I know. It is spooky because we really need them to be out so that we can buff them.
Oh, God. Do we just upgrade the Blazing Bolt right now?
Yeah. Are we feeding this monument?
Yeah, might as well. You're going to be our big unit here. I mean, you have to.
You got no choice.
Well, I mean, do we leverage the health of the Offering Monument, put the Siren behind?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it's going to be a 2 and 3 for a successful time here.
It's weird how much I want Siren Song in this deck based on what I'm seeing. It's not weird. I love Siren Song. I always want Siren Song, but
that'd be really good to play specifically in front of 2 Sirens of the Sea as well.
Yeah. Just for the theming of it.
Okay, this has got the lifesteal, which is why it's getting back to a decent health total. I was wondering what the hell was going on here. Well, we can chump block with a Jeweler and then get 2 Antumbras in it for 2 more casts. No! Come on! No!
I was going to say it, but I didn't want to say it.
I didn't think it was going to happen.
Oh. And it didn't hit either the Crypt Builders. That's kind of worst case.
Absolute worst case.
That's a lot of damage taken.
Yep. Don't I know it? Yeah, it has to. Okay, we can probably put that down.
Mm-hmm. We should, because otherwise we just keep leaking more pain.
Okay. Oh, don't you dare. I should have put that on the bottom floor. I was just like, this is not going on the top floor. I'm not doing this again. All right. Fight could have been a lot better.
And worse. Could have been better. We made it.
No wrong. Could have been worse.
Plonk.
Okay.
Okay.
A solid 25% right there. Alright. We're good.
Oh, I'm surprised that you played that out rather than foregone powering for it.
Oh, I figured
matter.
if we killed the backline target, we were always going to have the kill first.
Right, right. So there's that Ember Cache that you wanted previously, but there's also a bunch of damage, shield, and rage here.
Yeah, there is.
And I know that we keep thinking that Primordium is not part of our plan, but you know what Primordium is? Guaranteed to be drawn on turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that looks like it might matter to us.
So are we going capacity as the second gem as well?
That is a wild. Within can't.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, that might force our hand to take the Ember Cache, right?
Well, what I'm thinking is so our final floor, right?
Yeah.
Against Seraph. Siren of the Sea, Siren of the Sea. Lodestone Totem. 5 pips already taken. We get a 6th pip with the Space Prism and the ones that we already have. Primordium doesn't fit. We
That's
have
true.
no Ascend or
7.
Descend. We have only one prospective Descend that we can get in the Cave In. And that would force us not to set up on the top floor, which we typically want to do because of the Sirens of the Sea, wanting to incant as many times as possible.
Yeah.
I feel like the situations where we take the Void Binding, we have to build a deck that doesn't win with the Sirens of the Sea.
Yeah. I like this Ember Cache a lot, and I think I always take that over Skip. It's just a question of if the others were ever taken too, right?
I mean, we do have a lot of discard access.
True. I think Guardian's Amulet becomes less necessary with the Lodestone. It's not to say that it's bad at that point, but we're probably better served just setting up our line and playing spells on it.
Yeah.
At some level.
Think about the comparison, I guess. Like, is it easier to cast this or to cast 2 other spells? 2 other spells most of the time.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I appreciate that.
If I didn't have Lodestone, I am all over that Guardian's Amulet, I think.
Agreed.
Just to have access to something to extend our Seraphite.
Jeez, there it is.
We can get Mindjacks and Pyrestone Housing, and you better believe Mindjacks just let us get a draw gem too.
How many more haste units do we ever fight?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Merchant of Steel is on the same side as the Unstable Vortex at the very end. That's also our next Merchant of Steel. So if we take the Pyrestone Housing, we're taking it for 2 upgrades happening in the Merchant of Steel before the Seraph.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's pretty wild, isn't it? And Cleansing Water could, like, remove 8 turns of stealth.
We could Mindjacks reroll. Mindjacks is the cheapest one here. That plus the reroll takes us to 225 invested. We still have 215 left over.
Which is enough to buy most of the time. 225 is max.
Yep.
That's really not bad, is it?
I like it. I kind of want to go with it.
I can't remember the name of it. I'm trying to look up how many haste spots are left just for the curiosity of it, but I can leave it. I don't need to know.
Okay, that's Chain of Gems.
Yep, and then Superfood's back in it.
We're pivoting back to the original plan again. What plan are we doing? I would consult here, but I'm certain it's 2 shiny stewards.
I am just really thrilled by the ups and downs of this run.
Mm-hmm.
There's the cloak.
There it is. We do have to worry about this one a little bit. The sycophants are all going to be dying to the jackstrips, though, before they get to the second floor, so we're already set up. We will be losing more of our divine shield courtesy of the spikes.
But I think that's okay. I think we'll still outscale it. And we've got lots of biggie spells to kill stuff before, too.
Okay, yeah, the spells are the tiebreaker there. I wasn't thinking about them for some reason. In this
Frozen Nostalgia. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's been awesome. And it's not even at its best here, but it's just very good.
Man, okay.
And I love that, because I'm almost always taking the pips, just because I tend to have a fairly unit-centric style of play. Just by the nature of my style. So it's really cool when I get to play like this. Super fun. Blinky blinky blink.
Let's get another divine shield out there while we can.
Love to see it.
Okay. Guess we just plink Emberforge to the top floor and then crypt build to mid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, generate another energy. This actually looks like a tableau or a vignette of a thing happening here.
It's true. It kind of does. It all makes sense. Unfortunate to not be able to play Lodestone here, but not a huge deal for this fight, I don't think.
I think we draw.
Yeah.
It's like, what are our failed hits anymore?
That
you can hit
is a lot of morsels. Yeah, maybe now we're playing 2 of these out and then waiting.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I'm at peace with it.
I'm glad one of us is.
Peace.
I'm going to be eternally at war over this.
That's a movie that I'm going to go back and watch.
Which?
I need to go back and watch the Kung Fu Panda movies. Those are so much fun.
Wait, did you tell me this last week or?
Inner peace. I probably have brought it up several times in this show. I think Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 are contenders for like some of the best animated movies of all time. Particularly Kung Fu Panda 2 in the scene with the musician's village in the beginning of the movie is like, I think, one of the best choreographed animated scenes in any movie ever. It's really incredible.
That's extremely high praise.
It just is that good, and it's shocking that it is, because it should have been a novelty. And certainly, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to make the point that this is the best movie of all time, but I do really enjoy the movie. Jack Black is hilarious, and that scene is really, really good. It's like really kind of crazy how good that scene is.
Oh, God. Do you see what I did wrong? Viewers, think about this as well. It's a really useful exercise, this. So,
did you want to play out a morsel with the damage shield?
No, I wanted to only play morsels. So, the Crystal Cloak is about to come in. If we have a bottom floor that has no non-morsel unit, it has to work through each of them in turn.
But true.
Now that I have a shiny steward, I am going to be sapping up all of the morsels that I put into it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That matters a huge amount in a really surprising amount of Umbra runs.
That's really clever. You can just fill the lane, and then it has to go through all of them. That's really clever. Luckily, this actually works out okay.
Yeah, we'll be totally fine, but like especially 10 damage shield here, like it's not going to be a problem for us. But in some runs, that makes the difference.
You want them to not get eaten,
especially when you are running the Crucible Warden's Lifesteal, right? Lifesteal Crucible.
Collector is Lifesteal. Warden is damage shield.
Okay, yeah. If you're running the Crucible Collector, because it can't lifesteal if the enemy is invisible, and so you lose your front line a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's very true.
I've been punked by that so many times.
This is kind of the enemy to punk you, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if ever... But we just punked them with that turn.
Get mad
turn
punked
was absurd. Get so punked on right now.
Get made into a morsel.
just get spell cast. Our units didn't even have to do anything.
Trader's Quill is so good.
Oh, that's even more. Yep.
Space Prism, Pact, but especially Ember Cache.
Our spell and relic damage output, it's absurd. Whoa. Wait. Do you want to Shroud Spike the Primordium?
It's not a morsel.
Oh, crap. You're right. This is only for morsels. Yeah. Here's Void Binding take 2.
There is Void Binding take 2. There's also
engine upgrade.
like an engine upgrade right there.
Yeah.
We're not an Ember Drain deck just yet. We've got a Perils of Production that we don't even use significantly.
And just because you have Ember Drain cards in your deck doesn't mean you need to be stacking Ember Drain all the time, right?
It's true.
It's not a bad engine upgrade.
This makes the
I'm not gonna
Lodestone
lie, though,
Totem more playable after the first couple turns.
Yeah. I am tempted by this Void Binding though.
For the Primordium pass forward strats? Because I worry if we are doing that, we are maxing out on Ember Drain, and then we need a plan to be able to play the rest of the stuff.
You're right. It totally hoses our energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's not do that. Tis a silly place. Let's do this engine upgrade. You're right. That makes it so much easier to play out Lodestone.
Oh. I could actually happily take any of these.
Same.
That Unnamed Tome sure says, if nothing else, at any time you want after drawing this, deal 30 damage to the front enemy unit.
Deal 30 damage. Yep, that's right. And Titan's Tooth is another solid AoE for us, especially with the plus 15 damage on it. From 5 to 20 is kind of wild, right?
With the plus 15 on everything else, the Urchin Spines,
Urchin Spines
kills.
Urchin Spines, think about how much damage our Crypt Collector is doing, you know? That's wild.
The most healthy unit that we are going to fight by this point will already die to the Crypt Builder, though. We're not yet at the point that they're, like, 180s.
What does 190 is where Gilded Wing ends up getting to, or 195 or something crazy? It's so much. Well, okay, so let's think further ahead. What are our specific challenges that we still have to face?
Fella's Scourge. We have no extra energy, so we have to set up on the bottom floor. We can't. No, wait. Can we? No, we use spell support for killing on the bottom floor. Never mind, we're fine.
Yeah, we should be. Does that make Titan's Tooth better?
Very slightly, but I also worry that we have now more offer. Well, not more offering, but we would have equal-ish amounts of offering and discard, to the point that we're hard casting these a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true. I'm looking at this and I'm so excited for the chance of potentially getting a little relic that says something about randomizing your costs and drawing 2 more cards. We're like all 3 costs other than our handful of 0 costs.
No,
it's kind of wild.
Teak, that card doesn't exist in this. That's Snekawai.
That's Snekawai. You're right. Wrong game. Oh yeah, this one's plus 3 draw.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's do it. If nothing else, I'm just happy to have it in the deck as extra source of Frostbite.
True.
I really want to dupe the Ember Cache right now. It actually offsets a lot of the energy difficulties we're having.
It really does, and it's pretty sweet.
So what do we get on the other side, right? Double cost reduction on the Blazing Bolts is very appealing. Plus 10 on the Crypt Builders is fine, and the Plink is fine as well, but they're already kind of at that degree.
We have so much MP, right? So they're already pretty good.
Hold up, there's also does mean something to us, though.
That's true. Well, there's also removal on the other side. I think this right side is... It's hard for me to feel like left side ever meets right side right now.
Yes. Maybe in the world where, like, we consume remove this and then dupe it later kind of situation, but that's so much investment. Come on, come on, come on, come on. That'll do, though.
That is pretty sweet, actually.
Hang on.
Wait, all of that is sweet.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, no.
1, 2, 3. We can remove 2 of them right now. Dude, I actually think it is the Sketches of Salvation.
I think you're right. I'm not even mad. I love Sketches.
I will say,
you know, I saw Split Anvil and I was like, "Oh, Split Anvil's so good."
Contributing,
but it's actually not because it's only 0 and 3 costs.
Exactly.
It's not an actual range. Yeah. Oh, let's do it! I'm so hyped. Our mid lane is gonna be nutty.
God, I just wonder about what we end up doing because we could no, but the Offering Monument is such good fuel.
I don't think we remove the offering monument.
But what if it was another lodestone totem?
It's true. Double lodestone, double siren is an unbeatable force.
But I think we need the offerings.
But worst case, you know, we have 5 units. We get 4 of them out immediately, and then we still draw the 5th.
Hey, Teak, is it ever dupe the Siren of the Sea and then cut the lodestone or the offering? Have 3 Sirens of the Sea going off on the same floor? That's too much.
That's too many. I would probably rather have the 2nd lodestone than the 3rd, right?
Yeah. I think actually with 2 Sirens as well as the offering, let's just go for the Ember Cache. Let's solve
Keep it simple.
the problems we have, yeah.
This is about to be so wild. I'm super stoked on the sketches.
I
Show us
couldn't
what
be
you
happier.
got.
Hey, the first one is going to be the one that also gets the... So we're no longer going to be able to activate the Chain of Gems on the Primordium, which does...
That's true.
It's not excellent,
Unless
but
we
it does
wanted to
mean,
cycle back to it.
even if the frontline unit is indefensible, like a Lodestone Totem or some such, they have extra HP. They're all good.
Very true. Solving a problem.
Okay, that definitely goes down up there. Nope. So we are going to be taking another Scourge for the next stand. God, where?
This is a weird problem.
I guess we go for the Ember Forge on the top floor, getting the Primordium buffs, and then everything else just sacks on the bottom floor.
Is this going to make us take another pip? So that we can superfood into the middle?
It may end up doing that. Ideally, we end up with so few things that the Offering Monument can be expended relatively early, or maybe hit back into the cycle of the Primordium. I mean, actually, I guess if we do it if we don't do the Primordium on the first turn, right, then the Chain of Gems still applies. So if we just don't play it in the first turn, we heavily cycle with the Ember Caches as well as the Offering Monument.
Then we'll be back in no time. That's true. And that's probably good enough.
I think we can utilize it that way.
I would much rather take draw. I would like to take draw here, just to improve our consistency a little bit.
Yep.
It would be so appropriate, you know, that the runs are like, I feel like our last run and this run are they're dancing, you know? We've had these moments to where they started to converge and get similar, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, but now double extra pip, frozen nostalgia. You know, it's like it's so different now, other than the fact that it's leaning significantly on Incant, a core mechanic of Stygian, right? It's kind of like, oh, these 2 silent runs are the same because they both have poison.
Yeah, the game heard us make points adjacent to that and then was like, huh, that's what you think. That's what you think. All right, watch this.
Try this on for size.
Okay, I'm so glad that works because I didn't want to play the Excavator and still got the Forge. Whew.
True. These morsels are they just want somewhere to live. They're simple. Simple lads.
I'm so glad we have this Ember Forge out because,
no lie.
Sounds awful otherwise.
You know, blights are pretty bad news for us. Or I guess scourges.
Yep. Thankfully, we should not really run into many more.
True.
Get them. Then just keep getting them. Never stop getting them.
You don't really think you're done yet, do you?
See, you're not dead yet, so we're not done. This continues until you die. And I'm not going to say like you or I die. There's just you. Hey, but look, the cave-in on that top floor would be legit right now as well.
It would. And we could still find it because that card's uncommon. I'm thinking about a bunch of stuff right now. And that was a big one, was what kind of cards could make it even more broken. The other thing that I was thinking is there were a few turns there to where I had one of those moments where I was like, would it have been micro-optimal to place some of those spells on the bottom row to do damage to those units? And then it was, once again, I just kind of realized, it doesn't matter. You know? It's like, both paths will win here for sure. And super incanting the mid row is going to make the fell fight simpler.
Yeah, I think, you know, part of this is definitely sanding the edges off for this fight. Doesn't really necessarily need all the edges. Oh, wow. No damage.
Lodestone. So strong.
Hell of a lot of work. That Ancient Synergy gets stronger over the course of our fight with the Ember Caches.
It's true. We should take it. I love that this is only 0 and 3 cost spells.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is it ever the Spike of the Stygian, though, actually, to improve our Seraphite slightly? Like...
Does the Temperament multi-strike?
Yeah. You're thinking of Seraph the Patient. They're all multi-strike, except for Seraph the Patient. And, like, we should be able to sap it considerably with the Lodestone, but... Also the Frost. I mean, even if you only play it for 3 cost, like, that's a lot of Frost.
You're right, it's not bad. Do we ever have difficulty taking down the frontline enemy unit? We have 3 crypt builders in a single blazing
Not really
bolts.
anymore, right? And also all the consume. Just the Trader's Quill.
Let's do it. The Trader's Quill is the tiebreak in my mind there.
Draw. I'm stoked for this.
This is gonna be
Are we
really
going to
good.
second cycle the Primordium? I think we are.
I think it's the best play that we have access to at the moment. I think Emberforge needs to go out of the deck so we have the guaranteed triple summon.
Yeah.
What else leaves? Maybe a Foregone Power? Less card negativity in the deck? What do we dupe?
Ember Cache.
I mean, I could totally do that.
I'm not even kidding.
Yo, if we have 3 Ember Caches in the deck and a giant HP offering monument as we currently do, it's not going to be extremely unlikely for us to be able to throw out a Spike of the Stygian on the Seraph on turn 1
like
or turn
15.
2. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't know. I'm kind of pogging out with this deck. I'm super stoked on it.
This deck baits Pog. This is a Pog bait deck.
It does. Ember, I think.
Cash.
Yeah.
And then more damage shield, I guess.
You didn't want to hybridize into aggressive edibles? It's 2020.
No, unfortunately,
Live your own life.
I'm more of a mellow edible man myself.
I see.
Yeah. Edibles actually don't affect me even slightly. I have a weird stomach. It just doesn't. It does nothing.
Interesting.
I've been in situations where I've heard people say that and then just drop, but like we're talking like a batch of spirited festival brownies made for a bunch of people who also dropped, and then just me sitting there just chowing down on a bunch of brownies with no impacts whatsoever over the course of a day.
Just nomin.
Yeah. I don't know, just missing some sort of a receptor in my stomach or some such. Spell Shield 2, I mean, that is actually pretty...
It is impactful, right?
Oh my god, it's pretty rough, but also these Gilded Wings have 160... I actually don't think we can take this.
Really? You don't think we can take it at all?
They have 160, and without ever being hit by a spell reliably early on, because, like, the frontline targets are the Crypt Builders, the things that would be removing that reliably.
It's true. And we still haven't really we haven't gone to a Merchant of Magic. Have we just not gone to Merchants in this run? Feels weird.
Well, I mean, the last 2 rings, we definitely skipped Merchants, but before that, we skipped 1, I guess. Yeah, as much as I want the money, I actually think we have to skip this. We may actually be able to trade away 60, 70 HP right now against those Gilded Wings for it.
I'm trying to think about... may I see the deck, actually? I'm trying to think about the path. The thing is that we can shred a fair bit of Spell Shield, and actually, Trader's Quill doesn't care about Spell Shield. So all of the consume stuff is going through, and Lodestone Totem reduces the damage they do, so even if they leak some, it won't be that bad. I really think we can take this, man.
Add into that, though, that the Shade Wings in the back line do 24 damage and have 2 Spell Shields, so unless specifically...
But they die before the top because of...
Yeah, but they'll kill our midline.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
Yeah, that's a worry.
Like, it's
if we don't
only
lodestone them enough.
Titan's Tooth and the Stygian that can even actually kill them more reliably than rolling plinks.
That's a good point, and we'd have to plink a lot to get through it.
I really don't think we should take this.
Let's skip it. I'm quite certain we can win without it, and I agree that it represents a large threat. I think that it could be done, but that being wrong is run losing. There.
Let's actually just pop this one down.
Sure.
And then close up the space.
Wait, we might want that for morsels, huh? Might as well do it on a different... That's very funny, though.
I mean, it does miss an incant.
Yeah. Well, one.
Okay.
Plinkus, plankus.
If you were dying, I should have put you on the bottom floor. Found the better play just a moment afterwards.
But that's how it is sometimes, huh?
Often, in fact. I think we keep the foregone power for killing that one on the top line, so we get to use the excess blink here. Ember Cache can no longer... Wait, no, we just removed the Ember Forge, so we can literally just throw excess on the top floor.
The cache begins. That's right. It kind of makes me wish I had, like, one train steward with a couple buffs just to feed these two.
There we go.
Just so that they would feel that they had a purpose. I mean, there's no real end game.
As we removed the Ember Forge, I think we proved what their purpose is. To be removed.
Are we going to end up removing the morsel jars?
I think honestly they're like 30 damage to the front enemy unit and then just...
That's true.
Chump the rest of the...
That's a good point. And their draw.
Oh, God. Well, I'm coming around to your way of thinking.
Train's full.
All right. Any more? No. All right, we're done.
This is surely much simpler having not taken the trial, that's for sure. Clickety clickety.
Oh, just keep clicking, just keep clicking. It's hang on. Wait a second. Okay, we got past 15. I thought we were gonna manage to land exactly on 15. And in, there we go. Could we have continued that turn? Certainly, but we landed the 15.
I might have held that and a couple of the embers for the living armor. I think we'll be fine, but it was at least a consideration.
I don't think I'm concerned about the living armor at all, and that might just be literally because of saps.
Well, saps, and also we hit not very many times, which is key. The more multi-strike you have, the worse living armor is.
Couldn't agree more. All right. And we are sorted and fine. That's 16 damage shields on the lodestone. Never mind, we're totally fine.
Wow. How many turns is it even going to be before the enemy gets to swing at us?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll take a moment to find out. Drop that. Nope. Got him.
Boom.
And yeah, sure, we upgraded the enemy's damage, but that's a bunch more casts on that second floor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is not a great hand for casting a bunch of stuff. Oh, no, wait, it's an excellent hand for casting a bunch of stuff.
Perfect.
The enemy does get to attack. They don't get to do damage, though.
They are permitted to engage with the fight, which was a kindness.
Dying in a fight is engaging, right?
Would you like a fourth Ember Cache? Ooh, Guardian Stone's so good.
God, it is actually, right?
Yeah, I'm super hyped on that. And we're going to get double incant, just like we wanted before. Just like we dreamed when we were younger. Standing over the edge, looking at the run that was to be.
Those Swiss Alp views, the crisp air in our lungs.
Back when we were thinking about superfood.
We have 4 units at that point. So how do we handle the failure to hit a siren as one of the 4?
Oh gosh, that is a really good point.
Because I don't think we can be resilient to that if we want to play Primordial. Well, we don't want to play Primordial necessarily in Cycle 1.
You know what? No, you're right. This is bait. Because I think we can survive without it, and it does mess with our sketches.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think it's bait. That's weird, though, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
I was super stoked on it.
Survivability. I'm deeply saddened that we couldn't take that one, actually.
If we're going to get double incant anyway, it's already going to be great for our sirens. Do you want a 5th Ember Cache?
I mean, we could totally get a 5th Ember Cache, maybe consume remove before we even go for it. See what the trinket has in store first.
Oh, man.
It's theoretically viable, but I want to reroll because literally, like, unless we reroll and find the seal, we're not getting it.
Yep.
Huh. Well, that's not womp womp womp. That's a lodestone toad. No, never mind. They all instantly play themselves. Never mind. That's womp womp womp.
Yep. I know. I was excited at first, and then I remembered sketches. Teeth of Gold is like weird because Teeth of Gold against Seraphs in particular, the fact that they count as the rear enemy unit really, really devalues this relic.
Yeah.
The funnel is all right, but we can get some good Merchant of Magic upgrades here too, right?
We could theoretically. I mean, that funnel does mean that we don't have to deal with any of the Lightwings.
But do you want to remove Consume on an Ember Cache?
I do. Let's see if it's there. I don't know if I'm super keen on a Permafrost. We could lower the cost of the Blazing Bolts.
Yeah, or the Spike.
Double lowered cost Blazing Bolts or Spike, and then Helvet?
Ooh, yeah. Actually, double lower cost Spike Helvet is really quite good.
Okay.
That's.
Let's commit to exactly. Never mind.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Dude, we're gonna dupe it, right? Can we win really early?
Maybe. It's gonna be off the back of a heavy Ember Cache turn.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm pretty hyped on that play.
I like it a lot.
Is 190 still enough to buy that one relic?
Maybe. No. 215.
Not quite. Not quite.
Okay, so the purges here. I think the rest of these should be purges, and I think we should try and get our deck to a position where it's easier for us to do this reliably.
Setup.
So I think Foregone Powers, we need to cut maybe 1, maybe 2.
I wouldn't cut 2. I would be good with 1, and maybe like a Plink.
Plink? Okay. Another zero cost.
We have 3 Crypt Builders and a Titan's Tooth, so we definitely want some density of discard.
I agree, but I also think in the first cycle we're hard casting them a lot of the time. With
True.
Ember Caches.
That's very true.
And then second cycle, I think I'm taking for granted we win in the second cycle, and I don't think I should be.
So is Emberstone here for the Blazing Bolts then, I guess?
Yeah, no, we still have the ability to throw stuff out.
We still sure do.
Pop that there, and then make a Plink bigger, I guess.
One embiggened Plink. That looks like a deck to me.
It's a hell of a lot.
The consume removal was a cool idea, but this is going to be totally wild. That spike is going to be massive.
And we've even got a reload on it.
Mm-hmm. Double-barreled Spike of the Stygian. Sawed off.
Exactly. It has to be sawed off. Otherwise, it's not worth anything. That's what games have taught me. Start loading the gun.
Gun is loaded.
Isa. Keep firing. Just keep firing until we get to the space prism. Hold your fire until you see the yellow of their space prisms.
I kind of even thought about doing the second cycle Primordium there, like we planned before, since we already have all these more cells in the hand. But we will send them elsewhere to collect the debuffs.
That is
you
actually
will be sent.
That's not a bad play for them, right? The ability to collect the debuffs, but I wasn't thinking about that. I should have probably put it in the second cycle. I agree, actually. I
think we should plink bot lane here one time. We really don't want that Shade Wings. We don't want it.
Tis a silly enemy. Okay, I think the next cycle is... Yeah, oh my god. The next cycle is well, that's the next cycle. So I think we play Perils as part of this, and I think we end up killing the Offering Monument this turn.
Okay. Can you dig it? That's funny. Lodestone ended up in the front both times.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
even knowing that, I still feel great about this sketches.
It just likes its position there. Like the fact it got the damage shield, I'm so damn pleased with.
Yep.
I wonder if it's possible it would have died before the Primordium was able to come down and give it more damage shield if we got seconds. No, it wouldn't have.
But that is a good consideration, though. But no. We are too strong. Enemy is small.
Just gonna get rid of some cards there. Come on, Offering. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Now it's happening.
And now we're fine.
Oh my. Oh my.
So just gonna quickly, and then that one, and then another one there. Perfect. And then, you're not dying.
Uh-oh.
Whatever. 2 Ember Drain. Okay.
Oh my god. Play it. Play it.
Got that 250 right there.
Just a quick 50 sap.
You know what? I actually don't think that enemy has enough Frostbite right now, so I'm going to Foregone Power. There we go.
That was necessary.
We got him to a power of 2.
We did. Let's do it again.
If we can get back to it, it's going to be hard to do without the drawing totem, unfortunately.
It's true. Since we played all of our embers, that was awesome.
And then... Hey! Got him.
Never unlucky.
Actually, wait a second. Wait a second here. 4 turns. I think we no longer focus on the mid and floor anymore. I think the Seraph dies to our passive stuff.
Yes. We can kill it.
Just one big spike again?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And then also do this. How fast can we do it? 3 turns just before it goes relentless? No, it's going to be hard with it in the back line.
Yeah, at least that second one killed 2 backliners.
The sap is relevant? Well, it's not, I guess, because of all the damage shield. Unless we can get it to 0.
Okay, backline is not yet dying here, but we
all
do...
these leaky enemies.
We do almost certainly have the ability to... Yeah, actually. There we go. Able to do it.
Oh my. We did it. We did it in the time, too. GG, Rabs.
GG, Teak.
What a crazy turn. Pick up Spike of the Stygian, double stack it, -1, dupe it, 50 sap, 250 frost.
Yep. Suddenly our middle floor only really mattered insofar as it stopped enemies from getting to the top.
Wow. That run was like a grab bag of powerful stuff. We took 15 magic power and it just wrecked the next 3 rings. And then we started doing incant stuff with draw and that wrecked the next 2 rings. And then we took sketches and that wrecked the 7th ring. And then we took 1 Spike of the Stygian and that beat the boss.
Yeah, our deck changed our win strat changed fundamentally every 2
Almost
floors.
every ring. Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Jesus.
That was a fun one.
Yeah,
that was very fun.
That was really, really good. Especially in like debating each of those transitions, I feel like is another example of the thing we were talking about last episode of the reanalysis of the kinds of things that you would instantly go for. Because I think like in my own space, I maybe would have changed that deck twice. It would have ended up being honestly, it was probably going to end up in my perfect world as 4 sirens just literally in the middle floor, just getting as big as possible.
Just doing siren stuff. Yeah.
But I don't know if that probably would have won in this Covenant. I don't know if that would have won in Covenant 25.
C25. Yeah. I really liked the Frozen nostalgia there. I'm glad we took it. It was kind of weird because, as you said, we then had to take a boss relic to make up for it, but still felt really strong. SitemapTrashProgram.
I mean, this one's super easy. These are 3 things that relate easily in the technology world. I mean,
it's true.
Look, I had a server the other day that I was working on. I'm a back-end web dev in my own time. That's actually doing YouTube on the side.
Oh, what kind of backend do you run?
It's an interesting thing for you to ask. So specifically, I deal with database structure for a couple different company websites. But a lot of them end up refreshing their styling of their websites, or rather going out to try and get different front-end devs to stay up to current standards every so often, you know?
Yeah.
But
got to spend money to get that fresh coat of paint. Sure.
Exactly. And whenever they do that, I have to deal with the leftovers from the previous dev. So I have to write a new sitemap trash program. There we go. That's mine. Now that's definitely techno-babbly, and especially to someone who has worked in that field.
That was such synergy. I'm a
really
back-end web dev
with that,
working in database management logistics for a company that is disrupting the market of digital storefronts.
Damn.
In a way that you'd never expect.
Disrupting the market. Ooh.
I know. You didn't expect that kind of market disruption.
You're right. I didn't. And I never do. There we go. That's our custom challenge. There's the code there as well. If you would happen to look for it, you can find it again in the description down below. Well, for the moment, hey, Teak.
Hey, Raps.
I didn't necessarily ask last episode, but is there anything interesting you're doing in the upcoming week, possibly on your channel? Have you got any game you're covering you're particularly excited about at the moment? Actually,
yes, all of them.
Yes,
I'm so excited for games.
I actually have a couple questions about a specific Vault of the Void.
Yes,
I want to know how you're faring these days. I've seen you.
I have secrets. I can't share them. I'm loving Vault of the Void. Vault of the Void is the biggest thing that I realized playing Vault of the Void recently is that I came in with my nose slightly upright, knowing that I had all of this skill, right? Because I've played so much Slay the Spire and so much Monster Train. And so I looked at Vault of the Void and I was like, I'll just solve it. And I think that it's something that I'm kind of falling into. It's kind of an ego trap that just because I have competence and experience in these other games that I can somehow sit down and just math my way through a new one. Like I can suddenly solve it based on these other similar but ultimately different games, right? And I couldn't. I failed. The first time I played with the monk class, I lost. And then the second time, I obliterated it. And the real difference was something that I tell people to do all the time, which is just try stuff out. If you're new to the game, assuming that you're suddenly going to jump to master level makes no sense. The best way to play is to enjoy yourself and to try things out. And so I just started doing more trial and error, and man, it really opened the game up for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's way fun, and I'm way more successful when I just kind of try out stuff. Buffs are strong.
I couldn't agree more. The journey of my early time in Vault of the Void was largely upgrading the cards in my core deck and trying to utilize the strategy in the core deck with a couple of things around the edge that might assist it. And then as soon as I did the same thing of, look, I haven't taken this card, I want to see how it works, I'm going to take this card and put it in the deck, I found a lot of cards that are very good.
Yep. I remember the monk, the big one that changed everything for me was, it's not called Time Warp. I keep calling it Time Warp, but it gives you like significant future strike when you slow an enemy. It's really strong. It's really strong. It is like a quintuple upgrade for your base deck. That would work with your strategy. You put that in and you take one card out and your base deck can win, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's what is the other example of the one that can win with their base deck? Honestly, it's probably actually just that. The hidden blade might be coming up slightly on the tail there, but those slashes really compete against one another in the base deck. Yeah. I find base decks that have a couple cards that have the opener tag on them, like I'm really quickly trying to remove a bunch of those.
A couple of them because it's inconsistent. Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for asking. Vault of the Void has been very fun, and I've been doing some fun stuff with Slay the Spire. I did a jog to where I limited the time that I could spend before Act 4 to try to force myself to play faster. It's very hard. It's a very different way to play the game. And Spelunky, I've been making tons of progress in. I'm trying to push Cosmic Ocean in that game, which is just ridiculously hard. And so things are going well. And I'm planning for my first YouTube video, which I'm hopeful for.
Well, I was about to say, and you can find all of that over at twitch.tv/sneakyteak, but you might have to look in the description down below for the code to the YouTube URL. Actually, hang on. You have more than a couple hundred subscribers at this point, right?
I do.
Do you already have a vanity URL?
I don't. I probably need to like apply for that. Will they give it to me even though I don't have videos?
I believe that as long as you have more than 100 subscribers, you're eligible, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay. I need to check in on that.
But if so, then it's possible at some point, if you're watching this in the further off future, that'll be youtube.com/sneakyteak, but you'll find it linked in the description down below regardless. For the moment though, my name is Rhapsody, his name's Sneaky Teak. This has been the Monster Train Ladder Streak. Hopefully you'll be enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.